Already leading the charge for the most offensive film of 2009 is the film Dance Flick, and the Wayans brothers have their hands all over this one. It's a film that is shoddy and really horrible. It's a 90-minute look really at a series of sketches and spoofs. Now, Scary Movie was very funny and outrageous when it first came out, and of course since then there have been at least 3 or 4 more editions of the film. And the Wayans brothers have had their hands in a lot of different things. White Chicks, a ridiculous film from earlier in this century. And now they've stooped to a new low with this one. Dance Flick just contains all the most offensive and horrific imagery when it comes to body parts, anatomy in general, and then just some really silly jokes that don't work. Yes, there's a little satirical bite in here with some of the comments that you see and some of the visual aids that you get to look at. But it's an absurd film. It makes things really bad. It's a film that thinks it's funny, but it's really what I call the classic syndrome of tears of a clown. They think they're so funny. Unfortunately, though, the material here is neither fresh or very, very funny at all. And that's too bad, because the Wayans brothers have talent, and it's very clear that the Wayans family is one of the most talented families in America when it comes to comedy. But they are not that smart with this particular film as a whole. And In Living Color was fresh and new and had some funny things to say and some satirical bite. But this film, Dance Flick, is very poor. And of course it skims off of such films as Fame, Flashdance, Footloose to a certain extent, Save the Last Dance for me, and several other films in which it does a lot. But it's really one heck of a terrible minstrel show. And all minstrel shows for me aren't of value, apart from the fact that there were, back in the 1930s and 40s and even the 50s, some very talented performers like Stephen Fetchit, Burt Williams, and even earlier than that. Burt Williams actually was a turn of the 20th century, and he was very smart. So was Stephen Fetchit, but as I said, the Wayans family here, not smart at all. It's really a very disappointing film, and definitely very sad. It seems to set back the generations of black performers back to those days when black actors didn't have a choice back in the 20s and 30s and 40s. And now they do, and they can be charged with making material like this, but making it in a way that is informative and funny, and very well also casting much more of a satirical sharp edge. This film lacks that severely. Its quality and its taste in every way is denigrating and demeaning to the very people that it tends to make fun of and to laugh at. It denigrates themselves as people and as black people in specific. The film definitely is on a par with films like The Love Guru, a film starring Mike Myers that was appalling last year. And in fact, this film Dance Flick was even worse. And while people may say, look at Tropic Thunder at least was smart, if nothing else. Certainly Robert Downey Jr.'s performance skirted the lines of offense. After all, it was a blackface role that he played, but his character was smart, and so were the other performers in that film. This film has neither of those qualities going for it. I'm Omar Moore for PopcornReel.com.